Artist Insight.
Yeah.
An insight with an artist. We want to go in depth. My name is James.
We want to know what's up.
Your humble host. Her name is James.
Artist Insight of an artist. Let's trace himself, go in depth where it started. Moms play blues, pops play jazz. You sang in the choir, discovered your craft. You heard Rakim, or was it Lil Wayne? Deftones, what sparked your flames? Piano lessons, bass and guitar. You loved English in school, now you got bars. You used to DJ, but now you produce tracks. Some sucker this whack, now how you feel about that? Artist Insight was simply designed. We wanna know what's on your mind.
Come on.
Anyway,
Talk.
it's an interview for you. Tell us something new. You know?
Talk to us.
Artist Insight. Talk to us. Talk back. Artist. Let's go.
Hey, it's Cornelius James. This is F.U.L.Podcast, and we proudly present an interview with an artist, Artist Insight, where we try to gain some insight with an artist. And today on the phone, he is my brother, Mr. Leslie A.Jones. Welcome him to the show.
All right, glad to be here, man. This is nice.
Thanks, brother. Glad to have you on, man. I've been waiting to catch up with you. I'm glad we finally got you now. First of all, man, can you tell people the variety of things that you do?
Sure. I am an actor, musician, poet, writer, husband, father, man of God.
It's a lot of hats there, young man.
Yes, indeed.
But you wear them all well. You know, we're going to get into all the many different hats you wear and the different aspects of things you do. But right now, can you just tell us, where did you grow up? You know,
I grew up in a little town called Bristol, Pennsylvania. It's about a half an hour outside of Philadelphia. But where I got my stuff from and where I do my things were in the city of Philadelphia. So I really claim Philly because that's where I was born at, you know.
Right.
But raised in the suburbs.
But raised in, what you say, suburbs?
In the suburbs of Philadelphia, which is Bristol, Pennsylvania.
How would you describe it? You know, I mean, because, you know, I'm a Cali guy, man. I want to know, you know, give me a feel of it from what you can recall, you know.
Shucks, man. And when I was growing up there, you know, segregation had just gotten out the way. You know, we had started to go to mixed schools and all that good stuff. So, man, it's a little rural place, a lot of forestry. It was a lot of rednecks and things of that nature. But because it was so small, I think what happened is people mixed a little bit better than they would in the southern states like Alabama and Mississippi, you know. And I think the racism, even though it was there, it wasn't as thick, heavy, and laid on as it was in the South, you know. But it was cool for me coming up as a kid, man. I mean, I did a lot of things. I had a lot of diversity. It added a lot of diversity to my life because of the fact that I got out, I did things with other cultures and just other people, period. And that was thanks to my mom, because my mom was a RN and she treated a lot of different cultures and stuff. So we weren't taught that racism thing, you know.
Nice. Well, what kind of kid were you, you know, if you can recall that?
Adventurous, brother, adventurous. I was always into arts. I always did things like, you know, ride bikes to different places within our little county and stuff, man. And I always played sports. And I was adventurous, brother. You know, I'd get out there and do my thing. I was always seeking something new, something to fuel that fire, whatever that fire was at that time, you know, within myself, man. And I got out there and I did things. That's why I didn't stay there. That's why I left there.
So let me back it up a little bit. You got any kids?
Of course, yes. I've got 2 children, and they're all grown adults now. But my daughter's 36. Have 3 grandkids by her. She's in Philadelphia. And my son is 23, and he's in Texas at this time going to school.
Grown baby.
Yeah.
Okay, well, can you tell us a little bit about your parents?
About what?
Your parents.
Oh, man, I came up in a single family situation. My mom raised me pretty much. And she was stern, man. That's all I can say. She was really stern. I had a lot of responsibilities. I had to wear a lot of hats as a child because I was the oldest out of 3. And I basically helped raise them because Mom had to work. She was going to school, getting education. And, yeah, man, it was that kind of deal, man. But I grew up with a lot of discipline, and she instilled that. And then later, she married my step-pop, and he continued on, man, with that discipline, man. And I developed a lot of things, man, at the age of 13, 14, 15. A lot of discipline, man, and work ethic,
Work ethic? Discipline, yeah. It sounds like Mayweather. Hard work, dedication. You get a lot of things done,
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. That's true.
Let me ask you a question, though. First of all, what did you decide to do first? I know you act. I know you also do spoken word, and you're also a musician. What did you pick first?
I was a musician before I was anything. It was the music. It was the music that I don't know, man, that inspired me as a kid. My mom used to take me to see James Brown, Kool and the Gang, Stevie Wonder, because we would go into the city and go to the Uptown Theater on Temple and Broad, or Broad Street, rather. I'm sorry, Broad and Susquehanna or something it was. But yeah, big name acts, man, used to come there all the time, man, and I've seen them all, brother, and that fueled the fire for me, man, and. I started teaching myself because we were a poor family, so I started teaching myself instruments, man.
So, let's keep it on instruments right now. What was your first instrument that you chose?
The drums. I used to play the trap set.
Trap set. Can you describe the trap set, drums to the F.U.L. fans? Because I don't know what the trap set is.
Trap set is your basic, your snare drum, your bass drum, your tom, your hi-hat, a trap set. That's what it's called. It's just drums.
Okay, the drum set that we all familiar with, huh?
Yeah,
So you started with the drums, and where did you move on from there?
I started with the drums, and I played drums like a little bit in high school. And from the drums, I went on to the flute and just left the drums alone because this brother that was living or visiting, I should say, he was a cousin of a friend of mine. He had a flute that he had never really played or whatever, and he actually gave it to me and said, "Here, man, I think you might be able to play this." And from that point, I started listening to people like Bobby Humphries, Yusef Lateef, Pharoah Sanders, Hubert Laws, people that played the flute, and I started mimicking them on flute, and I basically developed my own style. I never learned how to read music with it or anything like that, but I could hear it. My ear, God has gifted me with a good ear, so I started breaking down. In those days, we had albums. So I could put an album on, learn a certain passage to a certain point, and then pick it up and go over it and play it as many times as I wanted to play it, and then move on to the next phrases or whatever, until I finished a whole song, and that's basically how I learned how to play the instrument, period.
Nice. Now, what was the next instrument?
The next instrument was saxophone. And I'm still learning to play it, because the phrasings on saxophone is way different than phrasings on flute. So the saxophone, the alto sax, I moved on to, and I gotta say, I'm you know, after all these years, I'm just starting to really get good at it and comfortable with it, you know. And but that was the next instrument, and then on from that, it was the percussion, the congas, you know.
I've heard you play the sax and the congas, and you are, to me, from my virgin ears, you can play that sax, you know. But you're hard on yourself.
Well, I thank you for your compliment, brother. You know, but you know, when I listen to people like Najee or you know, what's his name? Old school cat, man, Bebop, Lester Young, and Charlie Bird Parker. I'm just scratching the surface, you know what I'm saying? Because these cats are great, and I just want to have a little bit of that, you know, before I leave this earth, you know?
And you know what? Knowing you and your drive and determination, you will reach it. Now, let me ask you a question, man. When did you catch the acting bug?
When I came out here from Philadelphia to L.A., I was working at this joint called...
Wait. Let's back that up. So what year did you come out here?
Oh, 1986.
1986. Oh, that was a hot year out here, boy. It was a lot going
1980.
on.
Yeah, I sure did. Yeah, it was a lot going on. And, I came out here, man, and I started working at this place called Olympic Plastics, man, on, it was over in Culver City.
What was it called?
Off of Olympic Plastics. You know, we made a bunch of plastic products for planes and a whole bunch of stuff, man. All kinds of stuff they did, man. But you know, I was and still am a fitness buff, man. So on my lunch break, I would take a run. So there's some parks up there off of that street, Rodeo, I think it was, or whatever, or Jefferson or something, man. And I would run up into the parks, and I saw this film crew. And they were filming the TV show that I was kind of sort of familiar with. I can't remember the name of it now, but I stopped and I watched them for a while, and I said to myself, they make all this money doing that. I could do that. So immediately, I'm talking about not even 2 weeks later, man, I enrolled myself into an acting class. And I never forget this, man, Wilshire Theater of Arts, man. It was on Wilshire Boulevard, man. An old lady named Oleska, and she called herself Madam Oleska, was running the joint, man, and she had a bunch of teachers and stuff come in, and man, I just excelled from there, you know, from taking her classes, and started doing theater. And once I started doing theater, I got an agent. Someone saw me, they picked me up. After that, it was straight to television, you know.
Wow. So you, after the acting classes, you immediately started, you know, getting theater gigs?
Yes.
So you were doing plays, huh?
Yeah. I love theater.
How many do you think that you done before, you know, you finally got your, you know, first TV gig, you know?
How many theater gigs? I have done maybe 3.
Wow.
And that was it. As I said, you know, an agent was in the audience of one of my plays, and mind you, for these plays, man, each and every one that I've done, I won some type of an award for, you know, and the highest that I've won was an NAACP award for my theater work.
Wow. Do you recall any of the plays?
Oh, yeah. I do. One was called Indigo Blues. It was about this cat that had split. He was a musician, a jazz musician, saxophonist, had split from his town in somewhere in the rural South and went to New York to make it. And he was coming back to get his girl, and a train hit him. And the love between those two was so, he died, but the love between those two was so strong, man, that his ghost kept on moving and saw this girl and explained everything that he had done wrong to her in the past and how he still loved her in the present and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? And then later on in the story, they find out that the cat had gotten hit by a train on his way to see her, but his spirit accomplished everything that he needed to accomplish, you know.
Wow.
And so it was a deep play, man. And it was written by a sister by the name of Judy Ann Mason, which is no longer with us. She used to write for the Cosby Show. And yeah. She used to write for the Cosby Show, the first Sister Act movie with Whoopi Goldberg. She wrote that, you know. She had her hands in everything, A Different World, you know, she wrote for them. And she was a brilliant writer, man, brilliant writer. And I miss her today because she could probably write me some stuff today, man, and have me back out there, you know. But yeah, man, it was a good play, man, and we won. I won all kinds of awards for that because I composed the music to it as well, you know, that I played every night. So then the next play was a play called Washington Square Moves. And for that one, I won the NAACP awards. In that one, I was an inmate, got out of jail, met my other partner in Washington Square playing chess. He was a great chess player, and his role was played by Robert Gossett Jr., which is Lou Gossett's cousin, Robert Gossett. And he's, he was on The Closer. I don't know what he has now. He has a new show out now on television. But anyway, he was my co-star of the play. And, you know, the story is that he's on the street. I was in jail. I get out of jail. I become a bicycle messenger. And I tap in on this advertising agency that I was delivering for. And, what happens is they're talking some stuff, and I just basically go in and spit some stuff at them and tell them how they could sell, G.I. Joes to the black man or something, you know, and then they pick me up, they hire me. So I see him playing chess, and, you know, I was like, hey, man, let me help him out and try to create this buzz around him and playing this chess deal, you know, get some newspapers down here, some news teams down here, some TV crews. And because this cat is a heck of a chess player. And it all falls through, man, because a fire takes place at the same time. People are supposed to be interviewing him, and they focused their attention on the fire, and nobody came out to this big extravaganza, man. And basically, man, it was he kind of hates me for it because I built him up. And it was all let down. No, not because of me, but he was let down because of everything else, you know, that was happening at the time. And the people dug it, man. People really dug it. And like I said, I won awards for that one as well, you know. And like I said, from there, I went on to television. And I started doing...
What was your first role on television?
Oh, man, back in the day, Giancarlo Esposito and a couple other cats, it was a show called Bakersfield PD. And it's so ironic because, like I was telling you about the play, how everything got snatched from the cat that I was, you know, trying to pump up. Everything got snatched from me, too, because I had signed a contract to be a recurring character on the show. And I did one episode of the show. The next time I came back to work, the show was canceled.
Wow. Well, that's the base of this acting business. So
yeah.
What else? What was your next role? Were you on TV again?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was a recurring character on Beverly Hills 90210.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And on that show, I was a hitman.
Right.
Yeah, so I spent some time on that show. That was a good show. But, you know, in between that, I had done a bunch of other things, too. Like, I had a role on Martin. You know, it just was a guest star role. And not a, recurring role or anything like that. But Martin in the House, I did almost all the black sitcoms as a guest star at some point, you know. And, but Beverly Hills 90210 was like I said, that was almost like turned into almost a series regular on that show because I was seen every other week for, at least 6 episodes or so.
That money was pretty good, huh?
Oh, that money was hot, man. That money was hot. I never had to balance a checkbook, brother. Trust me, Yeah, it was a good feeling, man. A good feeling.
I could imagine. It sounds like your guy was, he was all right. He was getting you work, huh?
Indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
What's their title? Not a manager,
agent.
Agent, huh? Yeah, a good one is hard to come by, huh?
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. Let me ask you a little more about your acting since we're here. Now, I know you, so tell the people a few movies that I know that you played in and they might not know.
I don't know. You know what? The movies that I've done of my own were all independent films. Now, I know one of them does play on TV One, and it's called The Riff, and I play a jazz saxophonist, a young kid trying to make a mark in New Orleans, doing my thing down there in the jazz scene. I've done a couple other movies, but like I said, I don't think anyone would really know those movies. And shucks, I'm sitting here forgetting them myself,
Well, what about when, can you tell them a little bit about your experience with a known actor that they might know?
Oh, okay. All right, there you go. Okay, cool. Well, I did like 3 movies with him. I used to double and do stunt work for Wesley Snipes, and I started out with him on The Fan with Robert De Niro and him, the baseball movie. And I went on from that, he carried me on, so I went to, a movie called One Night Stand. And you know what, I don't even think that movie got a lot of buzz, but I was there. I did his stunts and double work in that. And the last one that I did that I met up with Wesley in was Blade, his first Blade movie, I did a couple of things on that, and after that was probably it for us because I still had the thirst and hunger to do my own work, so I stepped off.
Nice. Let me bring it almost full circle back to music. You have a band. What's the name of your band?
Right Hand Rule.
Right Hand Rule, and I've been to a few you guys live shows. Oh, yeah. Hey, tell them pretty much what you guys do. I mean, it's a great experience if you ever go, man.
Well, what we do is basically we try to fuse the spoken word, the jazz, blues, and rock element, and we just try to fuse those combinations of music together into one little ball of wax, and I think we've been doing pretty good. So therefore, I feel like there's something for everybody, something for everybody's ears and everybody's taste. Now, some people may not like spoken word, but if they hear and listen to the music that's coming behind it, they will groove off the music. Some people groove off of what I say, because I try to speak the truth in everything that I write when I'm speaking and doing spoken word, So yeah, that's basically it. We have a full gambit, a horn section, keyboard player. We try to make things happen. Yeah. Sax, sax. I do, lead sax and whatnot, and flutes and all that kind of stuff, But yeah, it's it's a pretty good deal there, man. It's pretty good, pretty nice. Now,
fans, he's very humble. The band is Right Hand Rule, right? And
Right Hand.
Yes, Right Hand Rule, and he's being very modest right now. He actually plays the percussion section too. He'll come off the flute. The flute, jump on the sax. And one thing he has failed to mention to you guys that he also, yes, he is a musician. Yes, he is an actor, but he sings as well. So, yes, you do, right?
Thank you.
Okay, fans, F.U.L. fans, I got to give you a quick story. Now, you really don't do this. It's never about me. It's always about them. the artist that I'm interviewing. But so we were doing some recording some of his spoken word, and I was making a track or something, and he was at the house, and him and my wife were in the room, and I stepped out for some reason, maybe got some water or something. But when I was walking back upstairs and whatnot, and I was hearing this voice, and I was like, he ain't in my house. Somebody was correct. I mean, somebody was hitting that. I'm trying to remember the song. He was hitting. I walked in there, and I looked at that was coming out of this man's mouth. He was singing a Prince song. I think it was, what was it, I Adore You or something? No.
I think it was.
And I was like, Jesus. I said, you can sing? He's like, I can mess around a little bit. My wife, no, he can sing. I was like, so why we not making songs about, what you singing? This man can sing. I mean, he can take it all the way up there, boy. I mean, so from then on, our relationship changed. You got to sing when you come over here. We're going to do some music. You got to sing too, damn it. And he's a singer in his band. That's what I'm trying to tell you, fans. He does a lot. He's just modest right now. And let me ask you a question about that then. When did you know you had a voice to sing?
Oh, man, I've always been singing, man. As I told you, I grew up in a single-parent household, and my father is actually, my biological father is actually a singer. And his band was called The Time. Not the time that we know, Mars Day in the time, but the time back in I think it was the 50s, the late 50s, they had a group. And they had a couple of hit records, man, and one of them went like this. As we stroll along together. Now, I don't know the rest of the tune and stuff, and I'm struggling.
I know.
Yeah.
La, la, lulu. Yeah. That's
Yeah, that's my pop, man.
So you gave us a nugget. I didn't never know that. You just gave us a nugget there. Nice jewels.
Yeah. That's my pop, man. There you go. That song. That's it. That's it.
Tell my age. I should know that song. I should not know that song, man. Oh, man. That's classic.
Yeah, man.
So you knew of your father when you were growing up?
No, I did not know of my father. My father was on the road and everything else. Now, here's what happened. My grandmother got sick, and she thought that she was leaving this earth, so she got in touch with my father and said, listen, my father and my mother, she brought them both together and said, listen, y'all have to let him know who his father is, and so I flew back to Philadelphia and saw my grandmother in the hospital. My father met me at the hospital. Well, he had called me prior to meeting me and said that he was a friend of the family's. He didn't lay all that on me over the phone. He said, yeah, I'm a friend of the family's, man, and when you come in town, I'd like to meet you, man. Solid, it's cool, man. Well, I'm coming in town to see my grandmother, so maybe we can hook up then. So we did. And it's crazy, man, because he was in the hospital room with my grandmother, and we sat there and we were talking and stuff. I never saw the resemblance, because of being in the acting business out here. You see someone that looks kind of sort of like you every day, if you go to audition, because that's what they're casting, a type. So anyway, man, I never paid that any attention, man. So then we talked to my grandmother for a minute, and then he decided, well, look, I got to get up out of here. I said, all right, well, cool, I'll walk you down, I walked him down. He turned around to me and said, listen, Les, it's time for me to stop bull jiving. You know what I'm saying? I'm your father. Now, at that time, he laid that on me. I'm listening because, you know me, we're friends. I'm a very respectful person, man, to everyone, not just my elders, you dig? So, respect tells me to listen to this man's story. He tells me, listen, I'm your father. I like to, me and your mom got together when, we were like 15 years old and whatnot, and, this, that, and the other thing happened. And listen, let me just take you out to dinner tonight. You think you can go out to dinner tonight with me, and I'll explain everything to you. Well, at that point, man, I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, but I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I got this little subtext going on in the back of my mind. This brother's crazy. He don't know what he's talking about. My pop is so-and-so and so-and-so. See, because my mom always led me to believe that my brother's father was my father, and my brother's father had passed. You dig? So I'm all, I'm like, yeah, he crazy. So I walked back up to the room, and my grandmother asked me, did he tell you anything? And I said, yeah, he went on popping off something about he's my father, and they said, that man's crazy, so he's got to be crazy, right? I'm talking to my grandmother, right? He's
like, right? Huh? Right? Right?
He's not in his full mind, is he? So anyway, she told me, yeah, that was the truth and whatnot. So later on, we went out, man, and he explained and everything to me, man, and he was tripping because I was just cool with it. It's like, hey, man, I've lived some life. I understand. Stuff happens. You dig?
How old were you?
45 years old.
Wow.
45 years old.
Well, you're full grown lion by then.
Yeah, exactly. So, what am I going to do? All I could say is, hey, man, I appreciate you coming forward, now. Maybe we can kick it off from here and live the rest of our life as father and son, Let's see what happens, you dig?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, so my pop was also a radio DJ, too, in Philadelphia, man, on the station WDAS for a time. And he's had some other radio jobs and stuff, but yeah, that was his thing. He was a musician, man.
So does it just like, wow, does that explain, like, maybe this is why this music just comes natural to me, like it could be genetically,
It totally explains who I am and why I am. Yeah, it totally does.
It did, huh? Yeah, it brought a lot of clarity to you, huh?
It did, because I can never understand how I'm able to hear a note and then go to my horn, and play it. I could never understand that. It's like, how can I do that without learning the real language of it? How can I do that without learning how to read and write and be, versed on these instruments, through school, So that explains it for me.
Well, since we kind of went back to music, if I had to ask you, out of all the instruments, which one would you say is your favorite?
I gotta say, man, I have to say now that, I'm getting ready to do a one-man show about Lester Young, the jazz great that played with Billie Holiday. Lester and Billie were like a team. He plays tenor sax, and I've been in preparation of studying for the show. I've been learning how to play tenor, and I gotta tell you, man, I put all my other instruments down in the cases, and that's where they are now. The tenor sax is it for me, brother, because number one, I speak in tenor. So therefore, when I hear in tenor. I hear well in tenor. And I've been able to do some things on this tenor saxophone, man, that I could never do on my alto. And it's just because it's a higher pitched voice, and I have little problems hearing in those tones. You dig what I'm saying? Or finding the fingering of that instrument in that tone, So yeah, man, I gotta say the tenor, man. I have to say the tenor. And I haven't been playing it that long, but for the time I have been playing it, it has brought me a lot of joy and a lot of love, man. I'm loving it.
Okay.
And I try to play as often as I can, man. And that's the kind of passion that you have to have, I do believe, to become great at anything. You have to have that passion to want to do it every day, even in your waking hour, in your sleeping hour. You got to be thinking about it. And this is the way I feel about this instrument, man,
Wow. Well, let me back you up on that, the sax. So there are two. How many different kind of saxophones are there? Because I heard you say tenor, and I heard you say alto. So that's two different saxes, right? They play different.
Yeah, there's a piccolo, there's a soprano, there's an alto, there's a tenor, there's a baritone, and there's a bass.
Yeah, that's all different types, variations of saxophone?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's move from that for a minute. I'm sorry to rush you here, but let's get to, what do you prefer, the theater on stage or, acting role?
Honestly, I prefer theater. But because theater sharpens your craft, it makes you ready for a film. And it's immediate gratification. If you do a great job, man, and you see your audience, man, give you a standing ovation, brother, there's nothing like it in the world. You don't get that from a film, You have to wait until the film comes out, and still you don't get that instant gratification. And not only that, man, you have one shot to do it when you're doing it on stage. One shot. On film, you have as many shots as the doggone budget allows. You dig? I could do 50 takes of the same scene, or more. If that's what it takes, if that's what the amount of footage that they want to cover it, and it gets tedious and it gets really hard,
Do you consider yourself a Renaissance man?
In a sense, yes. In a sense, yes.
You should. That's what I want to tell you. You should. All right. Now listen, I want to play a song right quick. All right. It's a song
all right.
Me and you put together. Can you tell them the title?
The title is Selfish Bitch.
Nice. All right. Let's listen.
Driving around in my drop-top caddy, thinking about the things you used to do. Running with your crew on a hot night Saturday, when I asked to be with you. Now I don't know what your problem is, but you're acting real cold and cruel. Now I don't know if you can get with this, but I ain't gonna trip on you. Selfish bitch, I just wanna love you, but you don't have love for you. So how could you give me what I needed when you don't know love for two? 13 years and we got married. I thought our love would be so cool.
That's my jam right there, man. Now listen, man. What were you thinking about when you wrote that?
Honestly, you gave me a title. And I was thinking about what I could write to fit the music that you had created. So I was relying on experience. I was relying on my musical ability to marry words with the melody of the tune. And that's what I was thinking of, man. That's what I was thinking of. And I was also thinking about my ex-wife at that time,
Well, it's funny that's one song that women sing too, right? With the title "Selfish Bitch," and they'll be looking at men like, they're like, it don't just apply to women, and they are singing, and they feel that way. They'll sing it. I've seen you perform it. They love it. That's a great song. That was a great time you created it. It was nice.
Yeah, it was.
It was nice. Now, let me ask you a question. Part of these multi-industries that you're, banging on the doors from, just say from your musicianship, trying to get, say for instance, a good record deal or an acting job. I mean, let's take the one industry at a time. If you could change something in the music industry, what would you change?
If I was what in the music industry?
If you can change something in the music industry, what would you change? You know, what would you like to see change?
I would like to see the control of the artist go back to the control of the artist and not a record company. You know, right now what's happening is everybody is doing the YouTube thing and, you know, doing YouTube videos and blowing up and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? But the people that are basically blowing up and not staying independent, they're getting signed, you know, and then when you sign, what's happening is these people take control over everything, man. I mean, there may be different deals out now where you can have the rights of your music and whatnot, but they definitely try to lock you in, especially if you are a marketable performance or performer, you know. So I would say control. I
think you lose a lot of it the minute you sign that line, you know.
Exactly.
You need a song like such and such, you know. You want to sound like such and such, you'll lose it all. Well, let's just use that same question and say far as the actors, you know, industry, you know, the movie industry. What would you like to see change?
I would like to see more black people do on white films, man, and with prominent characters. And I don't mean just one starring black person. I mean black people. You dig? Because we live in a diverse world with black people, Japanese people, Korean people, Mexican people. I would like to see more of that in these A-list films, man.
I agree with you. I mean, you know, we're both black men, and I'd have to say I like how you mentioned other cultures. We just don't see much of it, you know?
You don't. And it seems to me that they let one or two slip through to get to the status that you could call celebrity status, you know. But even still, man, I know a lot of brothers out there right now. I've worked with a lot of brothers out there that are out there, you know, in independent films and on stage and everything, man, that are acceptable, but they're still not mega anything. You dig what I'm saying? They're just in the business and they're fairly known. But these cats are great talent. I mean, you could take somebody like somebody I don't see enough of is Don Cheadle. Brilliant actor. You know? And I feel personally that he should be out there like Denzel and everybody else. You know, like, you know what I'm saying? And all the other white, I want to say, actors, Tom Cruise and people like that, man. These cats, man, are brilliant talent, man. Brilliant talent.
He's got the chops for it. I mean, he's one of my favorite actors.
Exactly.
I'm glad to see that he's got a TV show, but that's not really him being that.
Exactly.
No disrespect to the role, but you know, it's almost equivalent to when I watched Denzel do Malcolm X. Nobody recognized that, but when he played what's that movie? You know, when he was Dirty Police. Now they're like, now that's great acting. I'm like, no.
Training Day,
exactly. So it's like, wow, y'all recognize that, but y'all miss this. Come on now.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So
yeah.
Let me ask you a question. So, if you were right now seeing someone, young musician, I mean, what advice would you give?
I would say work on the craft every day. Every day, work on the craft. Believe in what they're doing. You know, because you know what? Prince said something in one of his tracks. I like Prince. I love that cat, man. He said something in one of his tracks. He said, you got to love yourself until everyone else does too. And I think it was a song called Style. That could be no further than the truth, man. You know what I'm saying? No further than the truth there. So, you know, I would say work on your craft, believe in what you're doing, be original at what you're doing. You know? Really speak from your spirit, your heart in what you do. That's all. And just go for it, man. Just go for it.
Well, okay, and I like that. But if I said and asked the same question, what would you say to a new starving actor, someone that wanted to break into Hollywood? What would you tell them?
Study. That's what I would say. I mean, I've even gone back to school right now to just study, because just like playing the saxophone or any other instrument, your body is your instrument when you are an actor, and in order to play each and every note on the scale, you have to study. And that's what I would do, study, and everything has to come, study, get out there and try to find yourself some plays to get into, try to get yourself an agent and things of that nature, because if you're out there, things come to you. If you're sitting in your house saying, looking in front of your mirror and you're acting, nothing's going to come to you because you're not getting it out there. You got to get out there,
Well, let me ask you, since you're speaking of studying, what actors do you study?
What actors do I study? A lot. I just got finished, before you made this call to me, I just got finished watching the old flick, Singapore and Tommy Curtis. The Defiant ones. I just got finished watching that, man, the old movie of his, man.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, they break out of jail and whatnot and get caught in the end and stuff, I study a lot of actors, man, And what I do on a regular is the hottest TV shows out, like Empire now is hot, Ray Donovan is hot. Look at these cats, man, and see what kind of work they're putting down. I'll go to the movies, and, I will look at the hot TV shows, like, what I'm looking at now is Empire, Ray Donovan, and I look at these characters and these actors portraying these characters, and I'm looking at their work, man, seeing how deep they go, These cats go in. They go in so deep that you don't know if it's them or if it's the character, for real. And in order to...
It's an art to get lost in the character.
Exactly.
It's convincing,
Exactly. And in order to do that, to play those notes of the character and to be true to yourself and be true to the character, you have to study. Because I might play, like, on my saxophone, I may play the heck out of a C scale. But when it comes to a G minor, I may not be able to do it that well. Why? Because I haven't practiced. I haven't studied it. You dig what I'm saying? I haven't taken my time and go beat for beat for beat what those notes are. And the same as an instrument, playing an instrument, you have to do the same as an actor in, trying to learn it.
Who are you studying as a musician? Sorry to cut you off.
Right now, I'm studying these old jazz greats. I'm talking about, like I said, Lester Young, Sonny Rollins. I'm studying the old ones, man. The cats that have been there, been around the world playing it, and have made their names, doing this, man. That's what I'm studying.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm not going to hold you much longer. I just got a couple of more questions. Here's a quick one for you. Now, as far as the musician, who would you like to collab with? Just play in the band with or sit next in a session with? Dead or alive?
Dead or alive? My first choice is Prince. Okay? Yes, indeed.
Which one of your instruments would you like to play?
I would like to play the saxophone.
Okay. Don't sleep on your percussion section. Not your drums.
Yeah.
I'm talking about your percussion fans. We'll make sure you find out where he's at, but you gotta hear this man play. Okay, so let's keep it moving. If there's another person you like to collab with, dead or alive,
Okay. Another one would be Grover Washington Jr.
Didn't hear that one coming.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bad man.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And he's a Philadelphia native.
Oh, okay. That's right. He's feeling it out. Well,
yeah.
If you had to do a scene with someone, an actor, an actress, dead or alive, who would you want to do a scene with?
Oh, man, I want to say, I brought him up before, man. I have to say this, man. I have to, Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle, you know. Yes, indeed.
Y'all be two dark-skinned brothers, huh? Y'all can play brothers, huh? Y'all can be going at it, huh?
I'm trying to tell you, man, Don Cheadle will be the man for me, you know. And another brother I like is that Idris Elba.
Oh, yeah, that guy's multi-talented. It's scary kind of, you know?
Yeah.
With the London accent and just can play anything in American, you know. Like, really? When
yeah.
I regular talk in London, I'm like, he's really talented.
Oh, I first got him, man. I first peeped him on The Wire. He played Stringer Bell.
Oh, yeah, Stringer Bell. He was playing with, classic.
Yeah.
I love all of that stuff.
Yes.
Now,
yeah.
Let me ask you something. In your past life, what do you think you were?
Wow, man, that's a deep question right there, man.
I just made that one up, too.
That's a deep question right there. That's a deep question, man. I often feel that I was a warrior of some type.
You're definitely a fighter. Definitely. Well, you know, is that your answer, or would you like to, you know, expound?
No, that's my answer. A warrior. Some type of warrior.
I can believe that. Now, this is Mr. Leslie A.Jones. And can you tell the folks where they can find you via social media, you know, Facebook, etc., and also let them know some of the plays and things you got going where they can see some of you live at, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, as far as plays and stuff is concerned, I'll be at the White Fire Theater in October, sometime in October, doing a play called Cold in Hand. I play a blind man that is a jazz enthusiast. So that should be very interesting because I've never been blind before, right?
Exactly. I was thinking, this is going to be good. This is going to be real. You know?
Yeah. And then after that, I will be sometime in September at the Odyssey Theater with the one-man show, Prez. And musically, I'm not doing anything until after all this stuff is done.
Let's back that up. What is that last play called? Prez?
Prez. Yeah, I'm playing Lester Young. It's a one-man show. Nice.
So is that P-R-E-Z?
Yeah, Prez.
Okay. Just want to make sure my F.U.L. fam understands what you mean.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So what about social media?
Social media, you can find me at Facebook. Leslie A. Jones at Facebook.com. And you could also see reels and you know, my live, my stage work, my film work, and everything there. So music and everything. So
nice. So you said, you know, before I cut you off, or excuse me, that you're right now putting the music on hold until you finish your play.
Exactly. Until I finish up this year. Because I'm on a mission this year that basically to get back on TV by next year. That's my campaign. So you know, because brother needs some more money. You know what I mean?
I get it. Hey, well, here's what I want to extend the F.U.L.Podcast site to you so you can post where they can watch you and Right Hand Rule perform live. And please, folks, go to his site. I hope you post everything on your site, too, to keep them updated. This is Mr. Leslie A. Jones. This is Artist Insight, an interview so we can get some insight of an artist. And this is definitely an artist in the Renaissance man. We want to thank you for being so gracious and giving with this interview. Anything else you want to say, brother?
Hey, I just want to thank you, man, for for hooking me up and interviewing me, man. It's been a pleasure, man. I haven't spoken to you for a good while, man, because I've been so busy. And, man, it's just a pleasure, man. Your company is always welcome, man, always. I love being around you, man, because you're an artist in his own right.
Okay. Thank you, sir. You know, I humbly bow because we're talking to a Renaissance man that wear more hats than the Mad Hatter. So anyway, this is F.U.L. Podcast signing off. Artist Insight with an Artist. We out. Peace.
Artist Insight. Yeah. An insight with an artist. Insight with an artist. We want to go in depth. My name is James. You want to know what's up? Your humble host. My name is James.
Artist insight of an artist. Let's trace yourself, go in depth where it started. Moms played blues, pops played jazz. You sang in the choir, discovered your craft. You heard Rakim, or was it Lil Wayne? Deftones, West Rock your flames. Piano lessons, bass and guitar. You loved English in school, now you got bars. You used to DJ, but now you produce tracks. Some suckers whack. How you feel about that? Artist insight was simply designed